All right, folks, welcome back. Hey, posted a puzzle the other day. I got some good feedback and helped me get that solved, so I do appreciate the feedback. Today's puzzle looks like an easy one, so let's look at it. Let's see how we're going to do this here. So I only see one in the puzzle here, and so that's in the center. I see a lot of symmetry here. Only one number in this cube, only one number in this cube. Okay. So let's look at this center cube for just a moment because I see a 9 and a 9. So no 9 in the left, no 9 in the right. So now I've just got two spots left, and it looks like I'm missing a 3 and a 5, and it looks like I have a 3 right here. So a 5 and a 3. That helps that one out. Okay. I do notice a pair of 7s right here, so no 7 in the center, no 7 in the right. Only spot left for 7 is right there. I like looking for pairs. Okay, now in this column right here, we just have 3 numbers left. We need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need a 6, 7, 8, and we need an 8. We need a 1, 6, and an 8. Well, look at this. There's a 6 and an 8 here in the center. So 1 is the only number that can go there. So these two are going to be a 6 and an 8. Now normally I don't use pencils for easies, but this might be a good opportunity for you to practice your pencil marks. I only put pencil marks down when I only have 2 as an option. It helps to keep it nice and clean. So this, if you want to try pencil marks, but you're just kind of get familiar with them. I always tell the story about an elderly friend of mine, a neighbor, who would try to play, and he would always go to every single cube and write with a pencil every possibility, even for easy ones, and his paper just got destroyed with too many possibilities. So I only write it down when there's 2. Now I'm going to look at this bottom cube here. I have a 1, I have a 2, I need a 3 in this cube. Well, it can't be here, and it can't be here. So that's the only spot left for my 3. Okay, now I need a 4, and it can't be here in this column, and it can't be in this row. So here's the only spot left for a 4. And of course, now I need a 5, and this is the only place that it can go, and then I've got my 6 and my 8. Okay, so now that we just did that, I'm going to come up here and look at this cube for just a moment. I just have 2 spots here in this column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I need a 6 and an 8. See this 6 and an 8? It's going to kind of tie into one of the things I love about these computer generated ones is there's a lot of patterns and recognitions. So I need a 6 and an 8. Well, I do have an 8 here that helps me that says this can't be an 8. So there's our 6. There's our 8. Okay, we need 3 numbers here on this right side. We know we need a 1 that can go anywhere. We need a 2 that can go anywhere. 3, 4, and we need a 5, but it can't go here. All right, so again, I'm not going to write the 1 and the 2 because they can go anywhere, but I'm going to write the 5 because there's only 2 spots that it could go. All right, we'll come back to that. Okay, now I'm going to look at this top right cube and this bottom right cube. Normally I like go for pairs, and I could do some pairs, but I'm just kind of looking at it a little bit differently. So let's look at these cubes here. I need a 1. There's no help for me there. I need a 2. No help for me there. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7 goes through the middle. Okay, here we go. So we have a 7 that goes through here and a 7 that goes through here. So one of these two is a 7. All right, so I'm just going to, just for practicing of using my pencil marks. And then we have an 8, and then we have a 9. Okay, so that's all the help that I'm going to get for just this for a moment here. So now I'm going to jump down here to this cube and look at it. So I have a 1 that goes through here, so 1 can be one of these 3 spots. So I'm not going to write it in just yet. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we need a 5, and it can't go in the top, but it can still be any one of these 3, so I'm not going to mark it yet. Okay, we need a 6, and a 6 can go anywhere but here, so I still have 3 spots, so I'm not going to mark it yet. I need a 7, and it looks like a 7 can't go here, so it can be any one of these 3, so I'm not going to mark that one yet. So let's hold off on that for just a moment. So I can't get any markings on that just yet. That's okay. There are lots of different ways to tear apart an easy puzzle. You can go by numbers. just around the board looking for all the ones, looking for all the twos. You can go by pairs, you can go by grouping. So I'm just trying different things. I do notice in this row that I'm only missing 3 numbers here. So I've got a 1, I've got a 2. I need a 3, but it can't be here. So one of these two is my 3. So I'm looking vertically. I don't see any help just yet, but because it's only 2, I'm going to just write it down. I've got a 4. Okay, I need a 5. Now, here's the cool thing here. I can't have a 5 here because of this 5, and I can't have a 5 here. So to have a 5 in this row, this is actually the only spot left for the 5. So that just helped us out there. Okay. We've got a 6, and now I need a 7. So one of these two is a 3, and one of them is a 7. We have our helpful 7 right there. So there's our 7, and there's our 3. So you just kind of, break it down, look at it different ways. I'm looking here in this column. Now there's 3 spots left. I need a 1, but it can't be here. So that tells me that one of these two has to be a 1. So I'm looking to the right, and I don't have anything to help me just yet, so I'm going to just leave it there for a moment. I need a 2. Now I need a 3. Now I do have a 3 here down the middle and a 3 here in the right. So that actually says this is the only spot. This 3 says you can't have a 3 here, and I also have a 3 here and here. So here's the only spot that can be a 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 9. So these two are 1s and 9s, and I do have a helpful 9 right there. So this has to be my 1. That has to be my 9. Okay, so you just kind of circle around, try different patterns, try different techniques, see what works for you. Pairs, I always kind of fall back to pairs when I'm looking for it. Like for instance, I see this 5 and this 5. So down in this bottom right corner, I know that this is a 5 because of this 5 and this 5 pair up in this bottom left cube. So I'm just trying a couple different techniques to try. I'm seeing some numbers, so let's just kind of let these pairs fall through. So here's a 5 and here's a 5. That turns this into a 5. I'm just kind of letting my mind look for pairs. So see these two? So no 2 across the top, no 2 through the middle, and we have a 2 in the right. So this is actually the only spot left for a 2. Okay. So now there's only 3 numbers left. Anytime there's 3 numbers left, I always like to look at them and see if there's anything helpful. So I need a 1. That can go anywhere. I've got a 2. Now I need a 3. Well, it cannot be here or here because of this 3 and this 3 and this 3. So that tells me this is actually the only spot that can be a 3. Also, here's a pair of 3s right here. So there's our 3s. So I have 2 numbers left here. It looks like a 1 and a 9. Now I don't have any help just yet, so I'm going to use my pencil marks and a 1 and a 9. Okay, so that also tells me that I only have 3 spots left in this cube because these two are 1 and 9, even though I don't know exactly which one it is just yet. So I have my 1, it's one of these two, 2, 3. I need a 4. Okay, so 4 can be any one of these 3. I've got a 5. I need a 6. So the 6 here comes right up the middle. So this is the only spot left for a 6. Okay, I've got a 7. I need an 8. So one of these two is an 8. I have an 8 right there. So there's my 8. And then my 9. So what was the number that we were missing? A 4? Now I only have 1 spot left for the 4. So just by working out the other numbers, they just kind of reveal themselves of what's showing up. So now I have 2 numbers each horizontally in these rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need a 6 and then 7 and an 8. So I need a 6 and a 9. Now I have a helpful 9 there. So there's my 9, there's my 6. These two, I can look either in the row or the cube itself and see that I'm missing a 1 and a 4. Now I don't have anything to help me just yet to tell me which one they are, but I'm going to go ahead and throw my pencil marks in there just to look at them a little different. But I actually see down here this 1 is going to help us out with these two. So you see this 1 comes across. In this bottom right cube, we don't have a 1 yet, but it can't be these two. So there's our 1, which turns this into a 1, turns this into a 4. Okay, so now we have 2 numbers left here. It looks like a 6 and a 7. And I do have a helpful 6 here. So here's our 6 and here's our 7. And now that we have this 6, we can now solve these two. So this one here can't be a 6 anymore, so that's an 8. And if that's an 8, that's a 6. Okay. Now we just have one number missing here. Looks like a 4. Now I have two numbers missing here. One looks like a 2 and an 8. And I have a helpful 8 there. So there's my 2, there's my 8. Okay. Now we are just chugging along. We can look at all kinds of pairs coming up to these top cubes and get those resolved. So let's look at this middle one. See, there's just two numbers, of course, so our probability is higher to get the number we need. 1, 2, we need a 3, and it can't be across the top, so there's our 3. Now we just have one number, so we'll just count it out. 4, and it looks like a 5. 5. Now that we have that 5, we can help our pencil marks out, and then make sure to clean up your pencil marks so you don't get yourself trapped or confused later. So what are the two numbers now we're missing? Is just a 1 and a 2. Okay, so let's just jot those in. We're just practicing our pencil marks. Okay, all right. So let's look in this far right lane. We're missing three numbers. We're missing a 1. We've got a 2, 3, 4, 5. We're missing a 6. Now there's a 6 in the bottom and a 6 in the middle, so the 6 has to go in the top. 7, and then we're missing an 8. So we're missing a 1 and an 8, and I do have an 8 here. So that means our 8 has to go here, and then the only number left is our 1. Now you remember these two, we didn't know which one was a 1 or a 2, but now we have that helpful 1. There's our 1, there's our 2. Okay, so now we have three numbers left, and we can do this by the cube, we can do it by the column, and then this one only has 2 this direction. We can actually do it by the row if we wanted to. It looks like we're missing a 4 or a 7 in this row, and we have a 4 here and a 4 here. So that tells me this one actually has to be the 4, okay, which now turns this into a 7. And then I got to clean up my pencil mark. Okay, so now I'm missing two numbers this way or two numbers this way. Either way, if I go this way, I'm missing a 1 and a 2, and I have a 1 already here, so that this can't be a 1. That has to be a 2, which means this has to be a 1. Now this one helps us out. With the pencil marks, you've got to kind of keep looking at them. Keep an eye, remember that they're there, because then when you get a helpful number, it can't be a 1, and that helps to clear those numbers up. So we've got two numbers missing here, just one here we can count by the cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're missing a 7, only spot left for it. 1, okay, we need a 2 and a 9, and here's a 2 and a 9, so we're just going to flop them, a 9 and a 2. So there you have it, folks. That's the easy puzzle. Even though they're easy, I enjoy trying different techniques or patterns to solve them. Looking for the pairs, looking through the cubes, looking for patterns. It's kind of fun to have some look at it different ways. You don't have to do the same way every time. Have some fun with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and please again feel free to leave any comments, suggestions, or challenges. I welcome them all. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll catch you next time. Bye.